There's a life after change. There is a life after change. I know it seems scary right now. I know it feels uncomfortable. I know it feels like the world is tumbling down. I know everything is scary. Everything looks like it's going away. Everything that made you happy, you're confused about it now. The people that you used to call your friends, you're confused about it now. You probably feel very alone. You probably feel that you're entering a world that no one really understands and no one can really understand. You probably feel like you're making a mistake. Because why is it the case that you've been who you were for so long, and now all of a sudden, all of this change is demanded? All of a sudden, all these new realities are popping up. I know you probably feel unsure. You probably feel like, maybe I shouldn't go anyway. Maybe I should just let go. I want this video to be a reminder that you made it all this way for a reason. Everything that you went through to get you to this point was for a reason. And now it's up to you to make a choice as to what you're going to do with your life. Are you going to allow the fear of change to stop you from appreciating all the work that has become of you? Are you going to allow the fear of change to stop your growth? Because that's what's at stake right now. It's the starting of your growth. Imagine being a child and it was time for your baby tooth to fall out. And because of the pain that happens when your teeth are coming out for the first time, you're crying, it feels uncomfortable, it feels weird. You just say, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I'm keeping these baby teeth. Do you know how ridiculous you'd look right now as an adult, as a big person with baby teeth in your jaws? You'd look ridiculous. But this is the same thing you're asking for when you're saying that you're afraid of the change that is happening in your life. The change is inevitable. The change has to happen. That does not mean that the change won't hurt, but it does mean that there's a life after the change. There is a reality after the change. There is greatness after the change. There is you after the change. If you allow yourself to meet yourself at that point. Sometimes it feels confusing. Confusing because why do we have to go through this pain for change to happen? But this is why we have to remember that in order for the new you to be, the old you has to go. In order for you to be the great person that you know that you can become, the person that was not so great has to go. This is like saying a baby can't be a teenager at the same time. A child cannot be an adult at the same time. Yes, the child and the adult can be, but both of them have their time and their place to exist. At one point, before your maturity, being the child was necessary. You needed to experience what you experienced as a child in order to become the adult that you are right now. But it's like all of a sudden we become an adult and we think that change should no longer happen. No, life is still changing. You're still growing every day. But the one thing that we have a hard time accepting is that there can be a life after change. Change is not an easy thing to go through, and it's not easy for anybody to go through it. Some of us get used to change. We start to know when change is happening. We start to be like, okay, I know that this is a changing period in my life, and you could prepare yourself for it. But change is not necessarily enjoyable to anybody. But that doesn't change that all of us have to go through it. In order to become the person that you are today, you have to change and morph into the person you are today. You're the same person that was a baby crawling on its knees, and then you learned to walk. That was a change. And then you learned to run. That was a change. And then you learned to socialize. That was a change. But then all of a sudden, we get to this age or this state of being called adulthood, and we start to believe that change should stop, or change should be different than what it was. Where you are right now, exactly where you are right now, means that you succeeded through many types of changes. Just look at yourself in the mirror. There was once a time when you had baby teeth, and those teeth all fell out, and now you have adult teeth. There was once a time when you couldn't even formulate sentences. But look at you here, analyzing this video and processing it all on your own. Change is inevitable. It's one of the only things in life that are sure. You shouldn't be worried for change. You should be worried if you don't see change around you, because everything that is alive changes. The caterpillar goes into the cocoon and then becomes a butterfly. The seasons change, the way you feel change. Everything changes. This is the first reason that you shouldn't be afraid of it. You should actually embrace it, because change is inevitable. Change has to happen. But it becomes problematic when we start to identify with the person that we're changing from, and we're afraid of the person that we're changing into. The person that we're changing from, there's so many things that we liked or that we thought we liked about that person. Maybe the people that we hung around, you thought that they were the best people for you. Maybe the situations that you used to be a part of, you thought that they were the best situations for you, and they probably brought you a lot of joy. That doesn't take away from the joy that it brought to you, the fact that you have to change from it. But I digress. In order to become the person that you want to be, it's going to come at the cost of the person that you were. Both people can't exist at the same time. You cannot be the person that does not succeed and the person that also succeeds at the same time. This means that the situations that made the old version of you are going to have to be laid to rest in order for the situations of the new version of you to exist. There can be a reality after the reality that you see right now. But are you going to meet yourself there? That's the question. Are you going to allow yourself to be? Or are you going to succumb to the pain and stop your baby teeth from growing? It feels like no one understands you right now. It feels like no one can understand you. It feels like no one has ever been through this change like how you're going through it right now. And that feeling is very uncomfortable. But always remember this. Every challenge that you've ever been through in life, ever, you made it. And that's why you're here today, watching this video. Because you're going to make it. Choose you and continue to rise on your journey to becoming who you are.